Hi, I'm Supermoon Tarot, and I want to say hello, Aries. Hello, how are you doing today? This video is for you, and the first half is going to be checking in with your energy and the story behind that, and the second half is going to be checking in with you and another's energy and the story behind that. This is for my sun, moon, and rising. It's all about the message resonating. So let's get started with your energy. What the? Oh my God. Sorry. I looked up and something was reflecting above me and I was like, what the heck is that? It was nothing. Sorry. Back to your reading. Oh, this is so good. Oh, forgive me. I am extremely tired. I only got like 3 hours of sleep last night. Like I'm energy oriented, like I'm up, but I don't sound as peppy as I normally do. So forgive my lack of pep sounding. That does not take away from how incredibly positive and uplifting this particular spread is. So let's get into this. Over here is your energy, and I could not be more thrilled for you. Essentially, this is about a lot of good fortune coming your way and incredibly fast. This could be job opportunities, this could be romance, this could just be a general favoritism from the universe, so to speak. So you just feel like things work out better. There's all these chances to like go do fun social activities, and you just feel like the world's your oyster, so to speak. And the thing with the Wheel of Fortune card is things go up and things go down. And in this case, things are going up for you. So it is definitely a really great moment in life. Like I said, I'm if I was peppier, I'd be screaming and jumping and clapping for you right now. Now, this is mostly due to a combination of timing of just natural forces. It was working out your way anyways, but some amazing, we'll say, transformation going on for you, which I'm excited about. So over here in the Strength card in reverse, this is when you kind of have lost your confidence and you don't really trust yourself. Often when the Strength card is in reverse, this is this feeling of like there's this emotional beast inside you, and you feel like they've taken control, so to speak, and you're no longer in control, and you feel like they're the one that dictates what happens next. So not only do you feel a lack of confidence and not trusting yourself, it's like, why would you trust yourself? You feel like every time you're making a decision, you're not really the one making the decision. The emotions are. The lack of grounding is taking over, if that makes sense. But we have where you're going over here in the Sun card, which I absolutely love. Not only does this have a lot less weight to it than where you'd be coming in the Strength card, but that's super important, that lack of weight, when we talk about the King of Swords over here with its relationship to the Devil card. So in the Sun card, this is somebody who's completely happy in their own skin. So complete 180 from what's over here. They don't define themselves by anything other than what gives them complete joy and bliss. It's super lighthearted. They're not thinking too deep. They're just happy and loving and positive and feel amazing, essentially, which I'm all about. And that being said, we have the in-between being this huge transformation when we have the Death card. Often this is about rebirth. And often this refers to the sensation of leaving something behind. This could be an old habit, this could be a concept, but when it's in reverse, there is resistance to this change. Keep in mind, when you get the Death card, this is inevitable. It's happening. I'm all about changing things and mixing it up and making it better. But when the Death card pops up, that's just the way it is. And there's initially resistance because of the lack of confidence going on. So if you feel like it's a little bit bumpy for a second, that's only because you're resisting something that's naturally working out in your favor for you, but because you're so like, well, I don't know what I necessarily think or feel, or if it's the right decision, that's where the hesitation comes in. That's where you keep pulling back, essentially, from the Death card in reverse. So you'll get over that. You'll get to the end. You'll be really pumped and happy with where you're going. But that will explain in this meantime when you're like, man, she said everything was getting better. This feels rough. We know why it's rough. We understand what's going on. And also, when you get the Death card, rebirth is like pretty intense. It's something to be scared about, but don't be surprised if it sometimes feels like you're taking a second before it gets better, if that makes sense. So over here, we have the Devil card, and an unhealthy habit you're going to want to be focusing on letting go. This is a part of the whole death experience. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. With the Devil card, it is about somebody who has a void in their heart or soul or whatever, and they're trying to fulfill it with other things that are just not doing the trick. And so that's why they constantly feel like they have to keep going back to these choices and habits, because they're trying, you're trying to do the right thing. There's a lot of compassion here of like, you're trying to get better. You're trying to feel better. You don't know that this isn't the thing that's going to work. I don't think on a deep level you do, but you're just like, well, this is what I have to do. This is what I know for now. And most of this is coming from the King of Swords. And this is why I'm saying it's so great that you're no longer going to be in this circumstance. If you notice the Devil card too, when she looks in the reflection, she doesn't say anything back, which can cause the lack of trust, which can make you feel sad, and you can only focus on the lack of like, I don't have that reflection, I don't have a version of me staring back. But it's actually a positive sign, because why would you want to see the version of yourself you're not connecting with back in the mirror? The fact that you don't see anything back is the mirror saying, girl, because this ain't you. This is not you. This is not who you are or who you want to be. So most of this is coming from, and the intensity behind it is from your logic-based mindset. So we got over here emotions, or I feel like this is an emotional card for me, and your logic trying to control the boat way too much. Clearly this is a sign of your intelligence, which is great, but sometimes when we're really intelligent, we rely on it too much, and it kind of takes over, so to speak. And it's just kind of like getting in your head too much. This is, I often find this pops up when we have the Devil card. You're just really over analyzing, when you mess up in your book and do something where isn't the right thing, you're over strategizing. It's just, you sometimes might confuse your emotions for what is actually just your mind speaking. This isn't a bad thing. Your mind isn't bad. But when you have an unhealthy habit paired with someone who's incredibly logical and really good at analyzing things, that's just kind of being able to hold a magnifying glass up to what feels like personal flaws and isn't fun to personally experience. It's like your own worst enemy at times. Now that's changing, which I'm excited about, when we have the Sun card, because this is someone who isn't putting a heavy emphasis on something. They're just totally free and happy in the moment. They're not thinking if things are good or bad, or if it's the right thing to do or wrong thing to do, or over. They're just there. They're just happy. It's lighthearted. It's free of this intensity that we have going on over here. So yay, very exciting. So let's look at you and in energies with somebody else. Here's the story behind that. Okay, so this is not exactly the type of spread that I love doing, but it's still here, so let's get into it. I want you to more focus on the first part and all that positive stuff going on. This could potentially hint to the rebirth, I'm being honest with you. So over here, let's talk about the energy. We have the Four of Wands in reverse, and this is a heavy indicator that something's not going right now in the relationship. Something feels off. And even though it feels off, some things, not connecting, there is hope at the end of the tunnel. It can totally be fixed. If you work together, you figure out how to make everything between the two of you feel more structurally sound, and you both put in an equal effort. Keyword, equal effort, working together, not against each other. It can work. We can figure something out. But here is totally two different opposing energies we got over here. Seven of Wands does traditionally talk about the act of fighting for one another, fighting to keep it, making it better. Again, another connotation that something's a little off. But that being said, you can tell in the stance they're working against each other. They're still weirdly focused on the end goal of, being at the same place, like they both want to end up together, but they're handling it in this manner. I can tell it's for a good reason, especially on your side, but yeah, it needs to be more of a focus over here with the Four of Wands in reverse. So this is where it gets a little difficult. Over here in the Moon card, it talks about something being brought to light. This could be a secret. This could be like an impression you have of them. You now understand who they really are, but something's being shown, and it's needed to be shown for quite some time when we have the Tower card in reverse. Now, the good thing is, when it's in reverse, it refers to having a long-standing issue come to an end. This could be the thing that's been making you feel like you're fighting against each other, and you're figuring it out, and you're like, okay, we're going to choose to be together. Now that we've got that out of the way, it was difficult to experience. And I do want to point out, with this imagery repeating itself twice, it is going to be difficult to hear about, but you can get through it. But here's where it gets kind of difficult to go into. I can tell from the Six of Cups, this is somebody from the past for your other person. And I can see over here in the Lover's card and the Three of Cups in reverse, this is referring to a past romance. The thing is, this past romance, it's kind of left a little bit up in the air. When we have the Three of Cups in reverse, this implies that this other person popping up is kind of shaking things up for both of you. And it's not fun. It's not great. They're not a good mix in here. They shouldn't be there. If there's any sort of conversation popping up, being like, oh, we were friends, or get them out. Get it. They're not friends. Get them out. It can't work as friends. This other person's not a good person. They're there on purpose to shake things up with you and your other person. And they were romantic. That's clearly popping up. So for whatever reason, if your other partner is lying and saying, no, we're just, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that with them. We're just friends. There was something there when we have this card popping up, for sure. Even if it never became anything, like they didn't full on date, there was enough of a mutually acknowledged exchange of being like, oh yeah, we were into each other. There's something here, essentially. And so I definitely can understand why that's an extremely difficult thing to experience and hear. But that being said, I want to focus on something really positive here. We have the Tower card in reverse, and the Four of Wands is still here. It can feel like initially you're fighting against each other because they're putting you in a position where they are hiding it. They don't want you to know. Maybe potentially because they don't feel that way for them anymore. And because that's the case, and they don't want you to be put through any sort of like drama or difficult situation, they're just kind of like, oh no, they're just a friend or something like that, or nah, it just is what it is. So there is the potential of being like, all right, let's talk about it. You shouldn't have hidden this from me, but how do you feel now? Let's talk about, can we push through this and then work together and overcome this? Because you created this problem, let's fix it. Let's not have a problem anymore. Or, and this just depends on who you are and your circumstance. It might be difficult to hear. Sometimes it's a good thing to understand, oh, okay, so that's someone from your past and you did date. Okay. Well, how do you feel? I need to know, should I be wasting my time, or would you like to be with this other person because I want to be with someone who wants to be with me? There is potential here, but a lot of dynamics still need to kind of like be figured out or discussed, and what's their opinion, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that information's coming to light. So yeah, if you enjoyed this reading though, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, I want you to focus on the last part of this, when we talked about this, I want you to focus on all the good things coming your way, and there will be a lot of them. There will be a lot of options. You will be insanely busy, so focus on that. Please focus on that. That being said, I am wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, bye!